What is going on, YouTube? This is the Just BSN podcast. I am here live in the flesh with my boy Andrew. We are on episode 8. What's going on, Andrew? How are we doing this week?
Dude, I'm doing great, man. Beat the Baltimore Ravens. Feeling
At what cost,
great.
though?
At what
At what
cost, though?
cost? At what fucking cost? Damn it, man.
Every time we do something so well, something always comes back and bites us in the ass. Like every time something good happens, it goes downhill so fast.
Life of a Browns fan. Like if people that do end up somehow being on our change channel and watch this and aren't a Browns fan, and you go, man, you guys have gotten ratted out of a few games, from bad calls and all this stuff. I'm like, you guys have no idea the amount of shit we have to deal with on a yearly basis. And this is one of them. We have one of the best wins. I mean, definitely the best win of the season, but one of the best wins of the team since they've been here since 1999. And all of that gets sucked away within a 48-hour span because someone doesn't know how to slide. And he got hit pretty good somehow. I don't know when. Still went 14-14 after that, apparently, though, which is they must have shot him up with some pain meds after that or something, because
I don't
going
think they
perfect
did.
after that is ridiculous.
I don't think they did, because I was listening to a show earlier and Didi was talking, and she said that he didn't get shut up or nothing to have. It was just almost pure adrenaline at that point. Yeah. And he was just riding off time because he also had a high ankle sprain in that game too. He suffered a high ankle sprain, so that's why he left before halftime. That's why we saw PJ Walker throw the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And he walked off with a high ankle sprain, came back with the broken shoulder and now the high ankle sprain. Still goes perfect, runs for a very important 16-yard run that puts us in field goal position to eventually kick the game winner. But my God, dude, this team's resiliency, man, is ridiculous. Like,
it is.
We were down 15 going into the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they scored that last score after we muffed the punt in the fourth quarter. It was
the beginning of the fourth quarter. Yeah, it was right at the beginning of the fourth quarter. They scored that last touchdown, and then we had a great drive downfield, got a tutty, then a quick pick six right after.
Newsome with his first pick of his career, and it was a huge one. That was such an insane game. It was one of the most fun games to watch as a Browns fan. I think the only one that tops it is the wild card win against the Steelers, which obviously we play them this week, so it won't be quite like that. But now the scenario's changed. But I still don't think that the Browns are in a terrible, terrible position. You're just basically put with here. There's a rookie now at the helm. You have to keep him upright. You have to keep him healthy, and you have to continue to control the run game. And if you can do that, and he just doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot, we will still have success because the defense is going to keep us in games. So with him, I think he just has to minimize the turnovers, not make the same mistakes, and just learn from them. And we're going to have some growing pains. But if he can just be somewhat efficient and be average, even average, or anything better than PJ was for us, I see zero reason why we still can't win not only this game, but still win some games this season, even with him. So
yeah, and
we're not out yet.
I think we got lucky too, because we talked about this plenty of times before, but we finally got to that stretch of the season where you have one of the easiest schedules going into pretty much the rest of the season at this point.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to breathe a sigh of fresh air, because you're just like, okay, cool. Like, yes, DESHAUN's injured, but at least he got injured at probably the best possible time, because you've just faced your last difficult opponent. Yes, you have an AFC opponent coming in Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it is a very winnable game. I mean, you've given up barely 100 yards a game at home. You've barely given up 10 points a game at home. So, I mean, this is definitely a game that you could easily win with a rookie quarterback, because guess what? DTR now has a full week of practice under his belt. Yep. They more or less simplified the playbook for him with a bunch of RPOs and just a bunch of dump offs and screenplays, just so that way he doesn't turn over the ball a lot
Yeah.
or turn it over at all. The run game has looked great in the past couple weeks. So that run game is going to be ready to go. Ford is going to be ready. Kareem Hunt, Pierre Strong, they're going to be ready to go. All you got to do, if you just don't turn over the ball or you limit your turnovers, that defense will take care of the rest and take care of everything. That's all you have to do. And you got one of the best or the easiest schedules going into the rest of the season because afterwards you have teams like the Jets, you have teams like even the Jags. Yeah, they're 6-3, but they're not playing like a 6-3 football team.
The Rams, we still got we
The
still
Rams,
got plenty of easy teams. The Bears, like we have some teams and games that we should win 100%.
and a lot of these games are at home too. They're not on the road. There a lot of them are at home. So because you spent pretty much your first half of the season on the road.
Yeah.
So now you get to spend almost the second half at home, and the Browns are one of the best home teams in the NFL.
And you know what? I think that's going to help us this week specifically because, as I've said before about the Steelers, we never play well at their home turf, especially after the playoff win that we had. But at home, we usually win. I think we've only lost like 1 or 2 games at home since then. And you know, last year we did it with Brissett. There's no reason why we can't do it with someone like DTR because the dude is still athletic enough and he's still capable enough to make good plays and just be disciplined. He just has to be disciplined. And if he can, I don't see why we can't win this game. And I'm very curious how it's going to go. I'm really more so curious about Stefanski's play call calling and his plan overall. What does he cut back on? What does he decide to keep? Because you can't give him the same play calling that you gave him versus the Ravens, when he turned the ball over 3 times. And that was the only thing that really shot him in the foot, which is why I think it's such a huge emphasis is just to make sure, hey, limit your turnovers. Don't be stupid. But from hearing from what he, said today, he sounds a lot more confident. He sounds a lot more poised and chill. I think he trusts the coaches. He trusts the defense. Like he trusts himself. And so it's just got to go out there on the field now. But he's got a full week practice, and that's all you can ask for. So I'm excited to see what the kid's got again because I think he was thrown in a very unfair spot that first game.
Yeah, and I just looked at it. The last time we lost to Pittsburgh at home was October of 2021.
With Big Ben.
And that was Big Ben last year.
Yeah.
And he beat us. That was the year they beat us twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, the last time they beat us at home was 2019. So if you basically take away that game or in 2021, they haven't beat us at home in Cleveland since 2019.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Pittsburgh is not going to have Minka. He's been out for a while. I don't think he's playing. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. They obviously lost their middle linebacker like a week or 2 ago against Titans, and I'm not sure if Cam Hayward is back. If he is, I'm sure he's not playing at the same caliber that he was. I mean, obviously you still have that pass rush, but again, do quick plays, like run the ball efficiently. And I think if you can really do that, I don't see why you can't stop this team. But you can't let them hang around in the fourth quarter because for whatever reason, that's the only time Kenny Pickett decides, hey, I can play football now because the dude has sucked in quarters 1 through 3. But for some reason, in the fourth quarter, he becomes Peyton Manning or Brett Favre and just wins games. And it's so frustrating. That's the only reason why they are in the position that they're in right now. But tonight is also a very big game too for the whole division. Because if the Ravens win tonight, the Bengals are going to be in a very rough spot in the AFC North because I'm pretty sure that's going to put them last. And then depending on what happens with us in Pittsburgh, Cincinnati isn't going to be in a good spot where if they win tonight, the whole division is still wide open anyway. So
this is a win-win for the Browns. This is a win-win scenario because now if the Ravens lose, you have a chance for the division. if the Bengals lose, that puts them in a very deep hole that it's going to be very difficult to get out of, because I think they also have one of the hardest schedules going after this game. Like this
Yeah.
is like right now is like the start of their one of the most difficult schedules in the NFL.
Mhm.
So if they lose tonight, the Bengals, you could. I'm not counting them out, obviously, because they're a good
Yeah.
football team. But if they continue to struggle like they do, this could be the downfall of the Cincinnati Bengals. And who knows? There's a chance that they probably couldn't make the playoffs this year. They
Yeah.
might miss the playoffs this year. They have for them. This is a must win tonight for the Bengals. This is a must win, and they're in Baltimore, which is not in, which we saw this past Sunday is not an easy place to win.
Not at all. It is not an easy place to play in. The fact that we squeaked out with a dub, the only reason why we did was because of Watson, straight up. Well,
Yeah,
Watson and that defense. I mean, that pick six was like the real
humongous.
momentum shift that that you needed. But we also had a couple great plays, like Chiefs big play up the middle there, where he literally dragged dudes like 10 yards or like 14 yards from where he caught the ball. I mean, stuff like that fires up an entire team.
Well, especially too that Jerome Ford run too, where the
Yeah.
entire offensive line, the entire offense
Set
just
up the field goal.
push
Yeah.
him forward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they push him
And
10 yards forward, 5 yards forward.
And by the way, shout out to Jerome Ford. All right. I was critical of him last week, and the kid came through and had a really good game. He ran the ball
100
so well. It was like night and day. It literally looked like Nick Chubb out there with some of the runs that he had.
Let me look at. He finished the 17 carries, 108 yards.
Yep. Yeah. So like that's efficient, dude. If you can get anything around there with under 20 carries, that's pretty fucking good. Like that is
That's
Nick Chubb
Chubb
status
numbers.
stuff. Yeah, because Nick Chubb would put up 140 on like maybe 20
15
carries.
carries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the dude was unbelievable. So if you can get about 20 carries and you can gain over 100 yards or so, I think that's a pretty solid game, especially when you have Kareem Hunt that's still going to average a good 40 to 50, and he's always going to reach the end zone. That kid, Kareem Hunt's been another guy that's been like he's been like willpower on our offense. Like he helps us kind of will ourselves to score, and it really makes me sad that DESHAUN is hurt, but I know that the guys are still going to rally around everybody, because we have to. Like that's the only way that you move on, and that's the only way that you compete still in this league. And I'm telling you right now, if the Browns even make a playoff game, let alone win one, Stefanski is easily going to be in the conversation for Coach of the Year.
He's probably going to win it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it would be really hard.
You're telling me you've gone through 3 different quarterbacks. You won a playoff game. You deserve Coach of the Year to keep, because you somehow kept this team alive.
Yeah,
Him and Jim Schwartz both deserve to be Coach of the Year together.
Going through 3 quarterbacks, going through without the best running back in the entire league. You are down one of the best right tackles in the league, and then replace him with another top 10 right tackle in the league, and then go down with him this past game and still not have Jed Wills as well, who hasn't been playing that well, but he's been playing better the last 2 games before he got hurt. Like he's always overcome so much, and we're 6-3. The fact that we can even still say we can make a playoff game, even if you make it, that is a W in itself. That is progression. It is beyond mediocrity, and that is something that we still need. I know guys want a freaking Super Bowl, and so do I. But without
Watson, you have to be patient.
Like without Watson, you are not getting there, and you still have 2 or 3 more years left with him anyway. And you're gonna probably re-sign Chubb. You're probably gonna re-sign Delpit. Like there's going to be guys here that are going to be quality guys for the next few years. I know people are very impatient and want to jump the gun because Watson has played literally 12 games in 2 years for us. I get it. All right. It pisses me off too, but it's the cards that we were dealt. There's nothing that we can do. We just have to keep trying to support our team, because you know what? We've been in so many worse situations as Browns fans. We went through an 0-16 season. We went through the previous year before that, 1-15, won on Christmas Eve somehow for a blocked field goal at the end of a game, it was a blocked PAT or something. And it was, we've gone through so many years of winning 2 to 4, 4 games. We've gone through the, Josh Gordon stuff. We've gone through the Johnny Manziel stuff. the Brady Quinn stuff, the Colt McCoy stuff. Like, just keep going because I can. So the point is, we've been in worse situations. You need to have a little bit of perspective as a Browns fan nowadays. If Kevin Stefanski gets us into a playoff game, just gets us in, you don't even have to win it at this point. You get us there, extend him because I think he's proved his word. He's worth this year and what he can do with Watson, fully loaded, ready to go, and then with a Nick Chubb as well. With Jim Schwartz as our defensive coordinator, this team has finally found its niche. It's finally found its thing, and the guys are believing. And you have success there. There's no reason why a lot of those main guys aren't going to want to stick around and say, "Hey, round 2." And
Yeah,
we want to build a good culture around here, and I think they're doing that.
and you can see everyone here is happy. There is a culture here, and you're going. This is how you get guys re-signed. This is how you get guys committed. This is how you get guys to come and play here. Is when you have this kind of culture. People now you're going to see veterans on other teams want to come here and play here, and it just makes you that much more valuable of a team. It makes you that much more competitive in the next years to come. And like you said, I think if Stefanski gets this team into the playoffs, not only is he coach of the year, but he's going to get extended. And all those people who said Kevin should be fired, they need to go because you're telling me this is the most winningest coach we've had since what, the 80s? This is
yeah,
which is ridiculous. Like, and people want him fired. It's like, dude, this is the most winningest coach we've had in almost 30 years. Like, I don't want him gone because he's winning us football games.
Yeah.
And and they're like, oh, Deshaun's a bum. He's like, well, Deshaun before he got out on Sunday was 5-1.
Yeah. I mean, we're winning with him. Yeah.
You're winning with Deshaun Watson. Everyone's like, oh, Deshaun sucks. Well, his total record in Cleveland's like 10 and 4 or something as a quarterback. It's like he's winning football games. That's what we got him here to do, is win you football games. It doesn't matter. We don't need him to be Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans, where he's throwing for nearly 400 yards and 3 touchdowns every game. We don't need him to be that. We just need him. And this is like what I've heard today on the radio and stuff. You just need him to be a competent quarterback. The defense will help you out. You just have to be competent, not throw a lot of interceptions, not fumble the ball out, just limit your turnovers. You're going to win a ton of football games.
Yeah.
It's the same with DTR. As long as DTR limits his turnovers, you're going to win football games. We saw it with PJ Walker. PJ Walker's 2-1 as a starter here. A couple games, he had a couple turnovers against the Colts and stuff like that. The defense prevailed. But you look at his game against the 49ers. One turnover? The Browns beat the 49ers. So the thing is, you can win with a third-string quarterback. You can win with DTR. You can win with Deshaun Watson. You just have to be competent, not turn the ball over. Bingo, bango, bongo. You've won some football games. And people need to stop freaking the hell out for no reason.
Typical Browns fans, man.
I get it. You want to go undefeated like the fucking New England Patriots or the 80s Miami Dolphins and whatnot. Like, it's not going to happen. Let's be realistic.
Especially not in this day and age. So that's just not happening.
Let's just get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's just get to the postseason. Deshaun's going to be back and healthy next year. Nick Chubb's going to be back and healthy next year. This is a revenge. This Sunday is a revenge game for Nick Chubb because I know those guys are going to want to go out there and beat the living shit out of the Steelers for what they did to Nick Chubb.
Mm-hmm.
Minka's probably lucky he's not playing because
he would have gotten killed.
someone was going to smoke the hell out of it, and it was probably going to be Tillman, because Tillman, oh my god, he laid out that one dude on Sunday. I was laughing. I was like, oh my god.
Well, and that's another and that's another thing that I want to bring up too, is this kind of comes at a good time for DTR to get into the lineup, because he's gonna have Tillman starting. Like, Tillman's gonna get snaps, and he has continuity with Tillman all the way back from high school. Like, that'll be cool too. Like, you wonder if that's gonna. So you wonder if that's gonna improve Tillman as well. I think it's not the worst case scenario. I think we could have been in a much worse spot. I know it sucks, but we've been in a worse spot. Now, my question to you because the Browns are going to add some sort of veteran. That's going to happen just because you still need to fill that spot. What do you think they do? Who do you think they go after versus who do you want them to go after?
So it's clear cut and dry. They're going to go after a veteran. The question is, are they going to go after a free agent veteran, which I think is probably the only chance you have at this point, because no team is going to give up a backup quarterback. No team's ever going to give up even a third string quarterback because they need those guys too. So, we want to go and get Jacoby Brissett. Washington's not going to let him go. Yeah, we're going to want to get another guy. They're not going to let him go. So your only options are what's in front of you in the free agent market. I mean, you have, oh God, it's a tough one. I mean, Brady's still listed as a free agent, which is not going to happen.
Nick Foles,
Matt Ryan,
Colt
McCoy,
Joe Flacco is on there.
Flacco, but we also have to realize too is that not only do you have to get them off the waivers and free agencies, but they have to clear waivers. They have to clear protocols. They have to clear medicals. They still have to clear so much before they even get to that. That's already like probably almost 2 weeks worth of waiting just for a guy to come in. And, then they have to learn the playbook. You have to get them on the practice squad so they can learn the playbook. Mm-hmm. And then you got to figure out what you're going to do with PJ Walker. You're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with these guys. Is PJ going to be the 3 and you're going to bring in the veteran as a 2 or a backup, depending on how DTR plays? Are they going to get inserted immediately and just DTR as the backup? Like, so much has to happen where do you even just do it at this point? I think you just go and get a free agent just to have them just in case of another injury or something. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's going to take a week or so, week and a half. They have to make the call like now to somebody and be like, listen,
it's probably going to happen soon. Yeah.
We're going to have, it has to be either right before the game or right after the game against the Steelers. Like, it's going to happen like immediately, but I think they do just because they need to.
Yeah.
There's no chance you don't go into the final game against the Bengals without 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of who.
Right. Which again, who do you want them to get personally, like out of that group? Because I mean, it's probably going to be a free agent, I would assume.
Yeah.
The only way that doesn't happen is if Tannehill gets released. I could see.
Yeah. I mean, if he gets released, then I would probably go after Tannehill just because he's probably the better option because he has played recently. So I'd rather go for him if he does decide like, hey, screw it, I'm just done. But who I would want, it's a tough one because it's not like these guys are all old.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably go ahead and say, I would say either Joe Flacco or Colt McCoy, guys who have played recently, because Matt Ryan's been out of the league for 2 years now. This is the second year out.
He played last year, yeah. So yeah.
Tom Brady, same thing. This is his first year out. But I'd rather have guys who have been on an NFL roster like super recently, which has been Colt McCoy or Joe Flacco. Yeah. So they're probably going to be a lot more fresh and a lot more ready to go. Where Matt Ryan, even if Tom Brady decided to come out of retirement, like those guys would have to take time to get prepared. These guys are already ready to go. They know they pretty much know every system.
Right.
Colt McCoy might be the better option because he's a little bit younger. He's 36 compared to 39.
Yeah.
He's 36 compared to 39 like the rest of them, or 45 like Brady. But and plus he knows this. He knows the city. He knows Cleveland. He's been here before, so he knows what the city's about, what the team's about. So I'm not saying he's gonna be a plug-in guy because he hasn't played here in over a decade.
Right.
But again, like just having that veteran experience, he didn't do bad with the Cardinals. He did all right for what his services there. So
yeah.
I think Colt McCoy is probably my best answer, just because he's been in a film. He knows Cleveland. He knows the fans. He knows everyone here. I think it's a place he's more than willing to come back to and give it another shot with.
Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree with a whole lot. Because I think all of those guys are in play for like first off. Like
Yeah.
I think the Joe Flacco or even Colt McCoy makes sense. Um my fantasy world wants Tom Brady to come back and fucking give us one. Just give us a ring.
Just,
just
like,
come
could you
out and be like,
imagine?
hey, I'm going to the Browns. I'm gonna save you guys. Come here. And
Could you
and, and
imagine he saves the worst team in the history? It just
oh
gives them a title.
yeah, well, why not? Just
I would
just LeBron us one time.
just if he LeBron's us one time, dude, I can leave this
Fine.
city never coming
That's
back.
fine. That's fine. But yeah, I would say more of a Joe Flacco, Matt Ryan, Cole, Cole
Those
McCoy.
three at least.
Um, I think a random one, and I saw this guy post today, and I was like, at first I was like, no, and then I was like, wait, maybe. I don't know. I'm a little curious about it. He hasn't played in the league for a few years, but
Don't say Philip Rivers.
RG3. No,
I was
RG3.
gonna say
RG3
RG3.
is only 33. That's the only thing that makes him
He's the
valuable.
youngest, yeah.
But also, if DTR plays well, you're like, all right, cool. Then you still bring in a vet like that who's been through like 6 or 8 offensive playbooks in his career. He knows how to read an offense. He helped build Lamar Jackson. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
He helped him out. Why can't you put him in a
And
position like that?
he's in great shape too.
Yeah, like he still said he runs a 4.3 at 33 years old. He still runs a 4.3. Like again,
Honestly, RG3
do
would be a
I?
solid pickup.
And again, he's not played in a few years, so like he's probably realistically not going to play. But even just bringing in that mentor to just sit behind, you
And that's
know,
what I that's my whole
Robinson and
concept.
just
Like,
help them.
that's my concept. You don't need them to play. You just need them to really just to coach
Yeah,
and just get DTR ready and just help them, just guide them. Like, you don't need them to. I'm not expecting Joe Flacco to come here or something and throw for 500 yards or 700 yards for the rest of the season. And,
yeah,
12 tutties and like one pick or something to win us some. I don't expect that to happen. I just want someone to come in here and just be a veteran to DTR and just be like,
yeah,
listen, kid, I'm gonna put on the headset with Stefanski and I'm gonna help guide you to what you need to do.
yep,
And I'm gonna sit down with a tablet with you when you come off the field and be like, listen, you did this wrong and this wrong. Clean this up. You're solid, kid. Like, that's all
yeah,
we need. We just need a guy to help him with understand the playbook a little bit and just help him fix his mistakes. Like, we don't need him to come here and be an elite level quarterback like they were once were,
yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm curious what AB and in company do. I don't really know. Like there's very limited options. Obviously, you lost out on the trade, so like you can't really do that now. You can't even trade for anybody until like May. So like
Also,
realistically speaking, you can't really do anything
did
like
you
that.
hear did you hear what happened with Joshua Dobbs? That it was Paul DePodesta who wanted it,
Yeah, that's
who
another conversation too. That like you almost wonder like,
it
are
wasn't
they
Andrew
letting
Berry, it's
him?
DePodesta.
Yeah, like, are we letting him do too much? Like, does he
I think
need to be
so.
set aside? And I think so. I think he needs to either take a back seat or go somewhere else.
Well, the
Uh,
thing is, you brought him here to be a number cruncher,
yeah,
not to sit there and make executive decisions on what to do with the
roster
football team.
decisions. Yeah, like
Yeah,
no, you can't let AB and Stefanski do that shit. Just be the crunchier of numbers. Be the nerd that you are for a reason. We don't need you for a a bunch of talent.
because we could have still
Actors.
had Joshua Dobbs if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could have, and it stinks, but it is what it is. And like,
Probably still
look,
would have Brissett last year too.
yeah, and like, like for me, Dobbs and that whole thing going on with him, it's been such an anomaly. I feel like he's going to be brought back down to earth here soon, if not this week, because it just happens, and like that's just how it is. Now he's still pro, and he's still going to play decent, but there's a reason why he was a third string quarterback for so long. It's not like this dude is super elite and crazy. Like he is what he is. So yeah, when I heard that, it was a little bit of like a
It's
maybe
like,
maybe deep. It did like maybe he does too much. Maybe he does too much, and we can't let him do that anymore. I don't know. But now with everything said, uh, we are now without Watson.
Yeah.
DTR is in play. We still came off a huge win last week. How do you think the Browns respond? Do you think they come in hella freaking motivated, ready to go, or do you think they're going to be kind of shocked again?
I mean, I think they're ready to go. I like I've seen all over Twitter and stuff like that. This is the Nick Chubb revenge game, and I think the players are inspired by what Watson did over the weekend on Sunday against the Ravens. And I think they're very much inspired. They're very much ready to go. This is your chance to. I mean, you're at home, and again, like I said earlier, you've defended your home so well this season. You limited opponents to less than 10 points a game, almost less than 100 yards a game.
Yeah.
And Kenny Pickett's not playing elite. He's not good, so it shouldn't be that hard to get to him and do what you did to everyone else, stopping, Tannehill from getting 100 passing yards or Clayton Tune from getting 100 passing yards. Even Joe Burrow barely got 100 passing yards on you.
Yeah.
Like, if you could contain Kenny Pickett like that and contain that run game, their defense is going to have to win that football game. And that defense is banged up because looking at the injury report, right now, we're recording this on a Thursday. The players who did not practice today, safety Keanu Neal, safety Mika Fitzpatrick, and Cam Hayward was barely limited today.
Damn.
So some big guys did not practice or very heavily limited in practice. And again, you have one more chance to practice tomorrow. And if those guys don't practice really, or they're very limited, they're most likely not going to be playing on Sunday. And that puts a lot of the pressure on Highsmith and TJ Watt to do everything. And those guys can't do everything by themselves because guess what? You're either going to have to stop DTR or you're going to have to stop Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt from decimating you, and you can't stop both.
Yeah.
So it's one of those games where those guys are going to be motivated. DTR is going to be motivated because he saw what Watson did, and he's going to be like, hell yeah, I need to be just like that. I think Jerome Ford is going to be motivated to have another big game, breakout game. DeJuan Jones practiced in full today, so that's good news and good sign.
That's very good. Yes, we needed that.
So that means, and actually, I have a question for you. Who do you start on the opposite side of DeJuan Jones? Do you start Jaron Christian or do you start James Hudson?
So
because Jaron Christian had a baller of a game on Sunday. He balled out too.
He scored the highest score that a left tackle for us has scored all year. So he scored better than Jed Willis ever has this year.
Exactly.
My safety net says Hudson, but I almost wonder if they decide no and let Christian go ahead and do it. I think it just depends on the I don't know. I think it depends on the matchup because I think Highsmith has always been a little more disruptive for us than Watt has been, at least over the last 2 years. Obviously, that one game we had when we saw Baker, where I think Watt had 6 sacks that game. It was ridiculous, and it was on Hudson.
Yeah,
he now has DeJuan to go up against. My only wonder is I really do wonder if they do try to put Jones at left and put Hudson stay at right, or if they keep Jones on the right, which I think they should do, especially
I think that's
against Watt.
I think that's what the plan was, is to keep Jones on the right, and they're going to figure out what to do on the left, because my thing was Jaron Christian's better in the pass.
Yeah.
James Hudson's better for the run.
Yeah.
So it for me, it kind of goes whatever the game plan is. If you're going to run more, if you're going to be more run heavy, then it's going to be Hudson. But if you're going to be doing a little bit more passing, then it's got to be Jaron Christian, because Jaron Christian, my God, can that guy block?
Yeah. It's a nice problem to have. Like it really is. It's a
Yeah.
nice problem to have where you have guys that you can plug in and they play well, and that's why I feel good about the fact that we have given DTR a whole week to prepare and say, hey, listen, man, this is where we're at. There is no confusion anymore. You are going to be the guy right now. Show us what you got, and if he gives us anything at all that's positive. We can easily win this game. We dominated the Steelers, at least on the defensive side of the ball. The only reason why they won was because we turned the ball over so damn much. Um, Beyond that, like the Steelers didn't even get. I think they had like maybe what was it like 40 yards of total offense in the second half that game. Like they didn't do shit. It was really one big play off of that freaking slant to
Yeah.
Pickens, and that was really the only like big play that really killed us on offense. Everything else was on the defensive side of the ball. So like, um, if we can just minimize our turnovers, we will be fine. But we just have to also commit to the run a little bit. And Jerome Ford played one of his better games of the year that night as well. So if you look at that and say, hey, we need to keep continuing to run the ball, and now we have Kareem, who's even more physical of a runner. Um, Limit the turnovers, and we will be a-okay. So I'm excited for it. I'm ready for this game. I'm tired of everybody complaining, and I just want it to go. And listen, if we lose, we lose. It is what it is. We still have a pretty easy schedule, but winning in the division is going to be very important. We need to win in the division, so it would be very nice if we could get this dub. But fortunately, we are at home, and that's our one saving grace in all of this.
Yeah, and that helps so much, dude, being at home because I want to take a look at the schedule and see what we have. Because you play Pittsburgh at home before going on the road on a little West Coast trip to Denver and LA. And then you're at home for 2 games against the Jags and the Bears. And then you're on the road against Houston at home versus the Jets, which I think the Jets is actually a Monday night game. It's either the Monday night or the Sunday night game
Yeah.
because that's at 8:15. I don't know what December 28th is. I don't know if that's a Sunday or a Monday, but we're gonna find out here. It is a Thursday, so it's Thursday night football
Of course.
against the Jets, and then you have your last game against the Bengals on the road. So again, this is the soft part of your schedule coming in right now, which again, Texas, Houston might be the more difficult game out of these bunch because CJ Stroud's been just absolutely fucking
Yeah, man,
balling.
he's legit.
He's been
At
fucking
least
balling.
like he's at least rookie offensive player of the year, hands down. I don't think anybody else compares at this point. Like nobody within the rookie Stratosphere is doing what he's doing. Nobody.
Yeah, no, and
So,
it's fucking crazy, like what he's been able to do with Houston, and everyone thought Houston was going to be the worst team in the league, and here they're fighting for a playoff spot. They're pushing for a
yeah,
playoff. So shout out to him, man. He's been going crazy.
absolutely. Okay, so we've been talking Browns for about 40 minutes now. So we are gonna do a little bit of switcheroo. We're gonna talk about that Ohio State game against MSU. I told you guys, last week that I did go to the game, which I did. The game was great. It was a lot of fun. It was pretty much all of the action happened in the first half. And the way that they used Marvin Harrison, they just knew they had a mismatch there, which let's face it, when you have Marvin Harrison, it's almost a mismatch every single time. Um, it was a good outing by him, McCord. Everybody played well. The defense played it, played well. The crowd was into it. It was a night game. It was a great night. It was a little cold, but it was a good
Yeah,
night. It was a good dub. I am a little frustrated though that they knocked us back to number 2, despite winning 38-5 or 38-3, all because Georgia beat Ole Miss, which wasn't even a ranked opponent anyway, and they beat them pretty handily, and that's the big reason why they did that. Um, but still, we beat the MSU by 35 points. Like, how is that not considered a blowout still? It's just Ohio State continues to get a lot of hate within the media. It's pissed me off.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
Yeah, dude, to bounce off of that too, like Ohio State with 530 total yards to Michigan's 180 total yards.
It
So
was a total beatdown. Like, they
it's
had
a total
no
beatdown.
chance. They had no chance at all.
Yeah, Hauser only finished with 92 passing yards. Carter finished with 52 rushing, and then Fitzpatrick for them finished with 23 yards. And then on the opposite side for us, McCord 335 yards passing with 3 tutties. Henderson with 63 yards and a tutty, and then Marvin Harrison 150 yards receiving and 2 tutties.
With
So
that, reverse
rushing
play as
touching,
well. He
yeah,
had 3 in the first half. And it
which
was
is
just
ridiculous.
it was a total decimation. Like, it was it was one of those games. Again, it was 38-5 at half, or 35-3 at half. And I was like, honestly, guys, we can leave whenever, and this game will probably be over still. Like, this game is over. Like, there's no coming back from that. They just blew the sails out of MSU. The wind was gone. They had nothing to work with, and I almost felt bad. And you get one more easy game before that team up north next week. And
Yep.
well, let me tell you something, guys. If we do a podcast next week, since obviously next week's Thanksgiving, whatever day we do it, a lot of that episode is probably going to be strictly OSU talk, because we have so much to say about that game, about everything going on. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about it here, but really speaking, like, there's a lot of animosity between the two teams right now. Obviously, Ryan Day and Harbaugh do not like each other,
Nope.
and they don't like each other very much right now too. And Harbaugh won't even be there because he's going to be suspended, which is the biggest slap on the rest, in my opinion, for what they've done and what they continue to find.
Yeah.
So,
And
I
to be fair to the Big Ten, to be fair to the Big Ten, though, I think that's all they can really do.
Yeah.
Because the Big Ten obviously is a separate committee than the NCAA as a whole. So I think the Big Ten could only hand out a few a rest of the season suspension. I don't think they're even capable of doing more than that.
Yeah.
To where now the NCAA has a decision to make, and the NCAA can obviously do more and fire him and whatnot and banish him from NCAA, whatever. So in reality, it all comes down to what the NCAA says at the end of the season. I'm sure they're going to wait till the end of the year,
Right.
Which is fine as long as, or they might wait till the end of the season to see if they make the playoffs and whatnot. If whatever happens, they might ban them from the rest of the season, like the bowl games and stuff like that too. And then they'll hand down to even more harsher punishment while they're done investigating towards the end of the season. So
Yeah.
I think the handling has been solid from the Big Ten. I mean, it looks like a slap on the wrist, but I think that's all they can. In reality, I think that's all they can really do is kind of hand down a suspension.
At least
they can't really
without
do
a
more.
lawsuit. Like, if they
Yeah.
did anything more, it's going to court. So, like, I get it from that standpoint. I just want to make sure that they're held fully accountable.
Yeah, and I'm sure the NCAA is going to make sure of that too, because you can't sit there and blame other teams for what you've done, because what you've done is totally different than sharing film and stuff like that. Like,
Yep.
which is really legal. You can share film and whatnot, but sitting there actually hand recording playbooks and stuff like that, that's illegal. You cannot go there and actually film a playbook or go behind the scenes and go to other universities and pretend to be on a staff and use glass cameras and, take a little peek in the playbook and take snap photos of the play. Like, that's completely illegal. That's the definition of fucking cheating, because when you have Ohio State's entire playbook, there's a difference between having someone's entire playbook and film. Film, everybody gets film because the games are all recorded. Yeah. But having the entire of someone's playbook, which the exact plays, and when you see the exact play they're running and what they're running, that is suspicious because you shouldn't have their playbook. You shouldn't know. Football's a guessing game. You're supposed to guess what the offense is doing, not sit there and I know exactly what they're going to run. Oh, I know this. They're just going to do this, and they're going to go switch to the outside, and he's going to call an audible here in 2 seconds, and he's going to like you can't. That's something you're not supposed to know. You're supposed to find out. And that's what they're getting hit for. That's illegal. Like sitting there being like, well, Ohio State and Penn State shared plays. So it was like they shared film.
Yeah.
A game that's pre-recorded already.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Like every team has done since the beginning of time, even high school, middle school.
When video was forbade.
Right. Like the fact that there's any sort of justification and the one thing that I really want to truly make fun of, and we will again next week, the whole Michigan versus everybody. Michigan is America's
which they stole from us.
yeah, which they literally stole that from us because it was always Ohio versus the world. Like it was always, it's all of the pity talk. It's the crying after the game because you beat a over. I'm trying to think of the right word here, but Penn State was ranked too high. Okay, Penn State is not a top 10 team. They're just not very good on offense. Their defense is solid, but they don't have enough help on offense to really help that defense out. It's not complimentary, and I think that could very well be the end of James Franklin over there. You never know, but it's not like that win is significant, and it's not like they significantly beat them. Like the score was about the same, roughly. I mean, it wasn't quite exact, but it was pretty much the same. And you didn't really show me anything besides, oh, you can run the ball too. Okay, well, so have you played a top 10 defense or a top 5 defense for that matter? Because that's what you're going to face with Ohio State. But I'm going to save the roast for next week. But yeah, the whole crying after and going, I love you, Harbaugh. This one's for you. And I'm like, you're not LeBron saying this is for you, Cleveland. Like, get the hell out of here with that pity. Nobody is rooting for you right now besides Michigan fans entirely. And I'm sure there's still some fans there that are very displeased by all this. But unless your name is Dave Portnoy, you are not really rooting for them publicly. It's pretty much where it's at. And
he's such a loser.
Yeah. And if you are in their favor, then you are just promoting cheating. And it's like, yeah, it is what it is. I am going to save it for next week because I got so much to say about it. And I want a full roast of that team up north for next week because they fucking deserve it, and I am ready to unleash on them. But the facts are this too, dude. If Ohio State doesn't end up beating them without Harbaugh, that's like a 1,000% confirmation that Ryan Day is going to get canned. You cannot lose 3 years in a row and keep your job at Ohio State. You can't. And that would create a whole new can of worms, and we've talked about that a little bit. But man, oh man, would that absolutely just set the world on fire. But I mean, what would happen is you would just replace him with Brian Hartline, and that would be the end of it. But you just hope that we win, because if we win, we go to the Big Ten championship game, and once you do that, I mean, you're in the playoff, because the Big Ten championship game isn't going to have anybody spectacular, anybody that's going to be scary to play. It's not going to be a good game, and that's why you just got to get past them. But let's get past this week versus Minnesota. I think we're playing this week. I don't even know who the hell we're playing because I'm so focused on that team up north. But
yeah,
I really just want to shut these fans up. It's almost like equivalent to how I felt about Bengals fans this summer, or even Steelers fans this summer, when they were just talking and talking and talking and talking, saying that we were going to suck, and that they can't they can't wait to see us lose and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, well, we beat the shit out of the Bengals week 1. The Steelers shouldn't have beaten us that week, and they wouldn't have if Chubb wouldn't have got hurt. Straight up, if Chubb doesn't get hurt that game probably goes a lot different. And that's my like equivalent, but I hate Michigan fans like almost passionately. I really do. I don't like how they treat us. We've never really treated them well either, which is fine. It's mutual, but it is what it is, man. It's business. Like that's all
business
I
is
got.
Business.
It's business, bro. Like next week it's on site. It's on site, and I can't wait because I desperately want them to hang 60 on them, but they'll probably hang 30 or 40. But that's still plenty for me. As long as there's a W next to our name instead of theirs, it's all I care about. But I'm just tired of the pity party. I really am.
Me too. Yeah, no. And I can't wait for next Thursday when we talk about this and talk about the Michigan game because, dude, I'm just so ready for it. I'm just so excited. It keeps making me. I'm getting so antsy because like I just want it to happen right now. Like,
yeah,
I'm tired of fucking waiting for this stupid game. I just want it to happen. And
it's always like the best time of the year too because it's always at the end of the college football year. So like it's that whole build up. It's the whole build
up. And it's
up.
at Thanksgiving too. So yeah Thanksgiving. Yeah.
It's gonna be so much fun. Like I can't wait. That's the only reason why that I like it being a 12 o'clock kickoff is because you don't have to wait all day.
Yeah.
But that game deserves to be at minimum a 4 o'clock game, but it should be a primetime game.
It should be a primetime. It should be the Monday night game instead of the NFL. That should be the Monday night game.
Just put it on Monday night football.
Yeah, put on NFL. Like forget the NFL Monday night.
Yep, dude. Peyton or
Peyton, the Manning
cast. The Manning cast. Yes. Have them on there. That would be fun. I would watch that.
Or it could replace the Thursday night game that week because like oh cool yeah we're gonna watch Arizona versus fucking Carolina. Whoa, yeah, I want to watch that game. I think everyone would rather watch Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I'm excited for it though. It's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah,
it's still gonna be close. It's not like it's
not gonna be a blowout game. It's gonna be a close game.
Michigan has a good defense. They have one of the best corners in the league. I know it's gonna happen. Like I know this is gonna be a tough game, but as long as they're not cheating, it should be a little bit different in my eyes. So that's my last thing I'm going to say about that. Let's go ahead and move into some Cavs talk as well before we end this thing. We're still early. The Cavs won last night, I do believe, without Darius Garland. Max Truss. Max Truss has been like our most consistent player for us besides, Donovan. He's been a great addition to this team. My God.
Well, the one of the more consistent players has been Karis LeVert.
Yeah.
It's been without Darius Garland. It's literally been Mitchell, LeVert, and Struss. Like those guys have been carrying the waters for this team. Now Struss did struggle from the line, or 3-point line last night. He was only 1 for 7, but he's still very useful. He finished with plus 25 over under. Yep. So that means he was still really, really impactful and really good because Donovan Mitchell was only a plus 22. So he was more impactful than Donovan Mitchell scored 34 fucking points.
Yeah.
but he also had an insane dunk too over a guy last night. So
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that too.
So Struss has been balling out. The Cavs, they're 5-6, but like you said, it's still very early on in the season. And they're still 2 games back for first place behind Milwaukee and Indiana, who are tied for first right now. So it's not like the Central's completely away already and stuff like that. You're 2 games back. You have the in-season tournament tomorrow against Detroit. In Cleveland before you play again in Cleveland for the NBA regular season against the Denver Nuggets, which is a game that's probably going to be a lot of problems. And then I think after that, it doesn't get easier or better. But I do think you face LeBron here coming soon.
Ooh. Get our nice
which is
little
a game I definitely.
yep, get our nice little recruitment of LeBron one last time. You always gotta slide that
Yeah.
in there. Hey man, you want to come back one more time, please?
Yeah, so you get Detroit for the in-season tournament on Friday. Then you got Denver Sunday. Tuesday you have Philly. Then you have the day after against Miami on that Wednesday, and then you play LA at home, the Lakers, which the most expensive game on the roster so far
Oh,
at 70
100%.
at
100%.
$80 a ticket.
Which still isn't that bad, but it
No,
is.
but it is LeBron James, and he is coming to Cleveland. So, I mean, those tickets are going to be a little bit heck. And then, hey, a couple days later, you can go watch the Cavs play a mediocre team for $6. So, don't you love how that works out?
Yeah, it's always how it works out, man. It is what it is. But yeah, let's get another hometown recruitment for our boy LeBron, because I don't know about you, but like with all of the rumors with Donovan, I would straight up trade Donovan for LeBron right now. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, it's
I
also
really would.
if the season's over and Donovan doesn't want to be here, I'll be like,
Yeah.
all right, cool, you're going to LA.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to LA. LeBron will come. We'll come here, because what he'll do is when he retires, he'll just coach or just be a GM or the owner for us anyway.
Just let him
Like,
coach the
it's gonna
team.
happen. You might as well just.
I'd rather
coach.
him be the next coach of the Cavaliers.
Yeah, fucking JB. Blech. I cannot stand JB Bickerstaff. That
Nobody can
pisses
stand
me
JB
off.
Bickerstaff. He pisses me off too.
He genuinely doesn't know like how to use his rotations correctly. Like, he doesn't seem to like find guys that are in rhythm. He's just, I don't know if he's like old school about it, or if he just doesn't understand the game as well as people think he does, because he's pretty good as a defensive coach, but like
Yeah,
it,
not
it,
good
it-
at getting buckets.
yeah, like it just genuinely affects the rest of the team.
Although I do like how I do like how he fights for the team though, JB, because
Yeah.
every time there's a back call, he is always willing to get like a technical or some shit and just go
Oh, yeah.
crazy, which I do love about him. He's a fighter for the team and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah, and like
that's one thing you have to love about him.
right, and like listen, Tito did the same thing.
Oh, Tito fought to hell for the Indians and the Guardians.
But you know what? Tito's time came to an end. He overstayed his welcome as a head coach or a GM for them. It was time. It was time to move on, and I think we're almost getting there for JB. In fact, I think we've been there since last year. I'm genuinely surprised they kept him.
I think if the Cavs continue to lose, JB is gone.
Yeah,
because there's no way Colby Altman keeps JB around if they keep losing.
No, otherwise Colby is going to start drinking and driving again. If we
We're all
keep
gonna start
losing,
drinking and driving.
if he keeps losing with this team, with this beautiful freaking roster that they put together, Colby Altman is going to down another bottle of wine and go driving through freaking downtown again. Like, you already know.
I'm gonna make sure I'm off the road when he's driving.
Was that too soon? I'm sorry. Was that too soon?
I don't think so. It feels about right.
I thought it was funny. I mean, I'll probably get hate for it, but who cares?
Actually, before we end the show, I do want to end this on a positive, because I do want to shout out one team who's actually making the state of Ohio happy, and that is the Columbus Crew. Congrats to them beating Atlanta in Game 3 of the MLS Cup playoffs in the first round. They won 4-2 against Atlanta, pushing them to the second round of the MLS Cup playoffs. Now we're in single elimination, and we are headed to Orlando on Saturday. Not this coming Saturday because it's international break, but next Saturday. So after you watch Ohio State cream the hell out of Minnesota, you tune into some MLS, and then you watch the Columbus Crew go to Orlando, hopefully beat them, and then there could be an all Ohio playoff game afterwards, because if Columbus wins and Cincinnati wins, they will face each other in the semifinal of the MLS Cup. So that could be big. It could be an all Ohio Eastern Conference semifinal.
That would be pretty sick. Another Battle of Ohio.
The new battle of if you didn't know, So when two teams in soccer play against each other and they're rivals, it's called a derby. And for Columbus versus Cincinnati, it's called the Hell is Real Derby. Because there's that Hell is Real sign in between Columbus and Cincinnati on 71.
That's right.
So they call it the
That's
Hell
sick.
is Real Derby.
I like that. That's sick. I fuck with that a
And
lot.
if you go to any of the
That's cool.
games, Columbus will deck out the stadium and it says "Hell is real" or like "Welcome to Hell" and stuff like that when Cincinnati comes to town, and it gets crazy and it's exciting. So it could be an all Ohio derby in the semifinals if both Cincinnati and Columbus win.
That would be sick. We drove past the Crew Stadium last week when we were going down.
Was it the old or
Because
new?
it was a new one.
Was it the new one? Lower.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was a new one.
Beautiful.
And you could tell it was the new one too because it looks new and it's beautiful over there.
It's gorgeous.
It's a nice stadium for being a MLS stadium because I know they're not usually gigantic, but the way that they build them, it's so loud in there. I have to imagine it's got to be so much fun.
Oh, don't you worry, I'm taking you to one next season. You're going to one, and
100%. Yes.
Dude, I tell you what, we're gonna put you into Nordeca, dude, and you're gonna love it. It's just singing and screaming at the top of your lungs, and it's just fun, man. It gets loud.
I'm really excited about that too. That'll be great. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, you'll love it for sure. Maybe, hey, if we make the MLS Cup final, it'll be in Columbus, because how the MLS works is that the team with the most points in the league who make it to the finals gets home field for the final.
Wow.
And the teams in the Eastern Conference, all 4 teams in the Eastern Conference right now have more points than all the teams in the Western Conference. So whoever comes out of the East gets that home MLS Cup final game. And if Columbus makes it to the final, that game will be at Lower.com Field in Columbus.
That is unique. Like that. Wow, dude. So whoever makes the final is basically guaranteed a dub. Like
if you make the final,
you're at home.
You're at home.
Wow.
Because again, the 2 teams who make the final, the team with the most points from the regular season gets the home field. So and Columbus would be that team if they get there. They would be that home team, and that would be a fun game to take you to.
That would be sick. Damn. Yeah, that would be cool.
Because that stadium would be rocking.
I'd freeze my ass off, but it'd be worth it. 100%.
Oh, dude. It'd be so worth it.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for us. My name is Zach. And we just killed it again. But I am so dead. I have been yawning the last like 30 minutes. I wanted to do a cool ass outro, and I was like, my mind is blank. I'm so tired this week. But again, it was good talking with you, Andrew. My name is Zach. We are the Just BSN podcast. We will see you guys next week. Probably not on Thursday, but we will let you guys know soon enough. Take care, guys.
Take care.